Welcome and be inspired with Dominik. And today we're going to make a knife. At some point I want to do the real thing, but I'm still not set up for blacksmithing, so we'll try something different. I call it whitesmithing. How different can it be?
For starters, I do not think that you could cut your stock to size on the table saw for the other thing, which is a plus. Next, I stoke the furnace to get it as hot as it gets. I've been told that the hot air gun with its 500 to 600 degrees Celsius is not enough for metalworking. At some point you might want to use tongs or a wrench in order to better pretend that the piece is really getting hot. When it is hot enough, you hit it with a hammer just like you would metal. I use a sturdy Weiss's work surface as an anvil. This is a great way to relieve some pent-up emotions, like the primal rage at having to use plastic instead of making something from metal like anyone else in their right mind. One downside for plastic is that it does not conduct heat as well as metal. That means that you have to reheat it often, and it is harder to give it an even shape. To form the blade, I first part off material using the hammer. I think you could do that with metal as well, but I have no idea why you actually would. I also try to fold material back from the edge, which works reasonably well considering that I'm just winging a crazy idea. Eventually, I cut down the rest on the bandsaw, but in the spirit of pretending that we're actually doing metalwork, I shall also pretend that it was a specialized bandsaw made to cut steel. Yes. For the handle, I picked a piece of locust. I cut it in two on my table saw because this is wood and we do not need to pretend that it was something else, like, say, glass. Who would cut glass on their table saw? Come on. Anyway, I also cut grooves to accommodate the forged part. Since that groove turned out to be a bit too large, I glued the two pieces of wood together first using epoxy, and looking back I could have timed this better. The idea was to combine them so I could then trim, sand and finish the handle, which I did. Make sure that the room is well ventilated because, well, there's enough crazy going on here already. It would have probably worked a lot better had I used clamps to keep the piece together for finishing, so that I could have glued the pieces together in one and make sure that epoxy gets where it needs to go. And I decided to use epoxy as a finish because, well, I had already made a mess. But wait, obviously we're not done yet. We need to heat treat the blade. And quench it. And grind it. Just not in that sequence and probably not the way I showed you. But this is whitesmithing for you. I hope you enjoyed this project. At least the mindset of trying something in a completely different way. If you did, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember to be inspired.